With Russia's war in Ukraine showing no signs of ending, and China showing increasing aggression towards Taiwan, World War III has never felt closer and could break out at any moment. As the world's preeminent military power, the United States has to be ready to take action if and when the next global conflict begins. It will need world-leading, cutting-edge hardware, ready to eliminate threats, annihilate infrastructure, and achieve aerial superiority ahead of its rivals. Fortunately, it's already hard at work on the perfect tool to achieve all of those objectives and more. The Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider, a stealth strategic bomber with the potential to almost win World War III entirely on its own. Set to enter service at some stage in 2026 or 2027, with around 100 units planned for construction, the B-21 is set to elevate the US Air Force's bombing capacities to whole new levels. It will also cement America's reputation when it comes to designing and deploying the very best bomber aircraft on the planet. The US Air Force currently operates 3 strategic bombers: the B-52 Stratofortress, the B-1B Lancer, and the B-2 Spirit, all of which have demonstrated exceptional efficiency and effectiveness over the years. The B-52 is the oldest of the trio. Designed and built by Boeing in the 1940s and 50s, it entered service in 1955 and is still going strong, more than 70 years after its maiden flight. Powered by 8 Pratt & Whitney TF-33 turbofan engines, it measures up at over 159 feet, 48.5 meters in length, with a wingspan of 185 feet, 56.4 meters, and a maximum takeoff weight of 488,000 pounds or 221,323 kilograms. Its crew is made up of 5 people: a pilot, co-pilot, weapons systems officer, navigator, and electronic warfare officer, and it can reach peak speeds of 650 miles per hour or 1,050 kilometers per hour, with a combat range of 8,800 miles or 14,200 kilometers, and a service ceiling of 50,000 feet or 15,000 meters. Weapons-wise, the Stratofortress can carry up to 70,000 pounds or 32,000 kilograms of various bombs, mines, and missiles, including the AGM-86 ALCM cruise missiles, as well as AGM-142s, AGM-154s, and various Joint Direct Attack Munitions, JDAMs. The aircraft once featured a 20mm M61 Vulcan tail cannon, but this system, along with the gunner position, was removed in 1991. Despite its age, the B-52 stands out for its versatility and longevity. It was used to great effect for carpet bombing runs during the Vietnam War, along with long-range strikes and cruise missile launches during the Gulf War, while also playing a continuous role in nuclear deterrence throughout the Cold War and into the modern era. The B-1 Lancer is a smaller, faster, and more recent addition to the American bombing fleet. First envisioned in the 60s, it was supposed to bring the supersonic speeds of the B-58 Hustler with the remarkable range and payload capacity of the B-52. Manufacture began in the 1970s, and while the program was temporarily cancelled in 1977, it resumed in 1981 with a few alterations. The result is one of the best supersonic variable sweep-wing heavy bombers ever built. Manned by a crew of 4, commander, co-pilot, offensive systems officer, and defensive systems officer, each B-1 is 146 feet, 44.5 meters long, with a wingspan of 137 feet or 42 meters, and a maximum takeoff weight of 477,000 pounds or 216,600 kilograms. Each bomber is also equipped with 4 General Electric F101 GE 102 afterburning turbofans, allowing it to reach a peak speed of Mach 1.25 at altitude 960 miles per hour and Mach 0.92 at low-level flight, 736 miles per hour. It boasts a service ceiling of 60,000 feet or 18,300 meters, intercontinental range, and the ability to carry a payload weighing up to 75,000 pounds or 34,000 kilograms, which is the biggest internal payload of any existing American bomber. Once able to carry nuclear weapons, The B-1 is now exclusively equipped with conventional munitions like JDAMs, laser-guided bombs, and cruise missiles. It's proven itself on numerous occasions in conflicts like the Kosovo War, Afghanistan, and the Iraq War, and it's famed for its remarkable speed when compared to more conventional bombers like the B-52, huge internal payload, and ability to evade radars and detection despite not technically falling into the stealth bomber category. The B-2 Spirit, however, does fit into that category. With its first flight taking place in 1989, the B-2 entered service in 1997, making it the most recent and modern addition to the US Air Force's bombing fleet. A stealth strategic bomber with a crew of just 2, 1 pilot and 1 mission commander, the B-2 features an iconic tailless flying wing design. It's 69 feet, 21 meters long, with a wingspan of 172 feet or 52 meters, and a maximum takeoff weight of 336,500 pounds or 152,000 kilograms. Fitted with 4 General Electric F118 GE100 engines, each generating 17,300 pounds of thrust, this bomber can cut through the skies at high subsonic speeds of Mach 0.95, 730 miles per hour. It has a service ceiling of 50,000 feet or 15,000 meters, an intercontinental, even global range thanks to aerial refueling. It can carry both nuclear and conventional weapons, including B-61 and B-83 nuclear gravity bombs, plus precision-guided JDAMs and GBUs, bunker busters, and other munitions. It's been used over the years in various conflicts and locations like Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and Libya, often deployed early on in conflicts to quickly suppress and eliminate enemy air defenses and take out the most fortified or high-value targets before enemies have any chance to protect them or plan and deploy their own countermeasures. B-2s are also famed for their remarkably stealthy designs, with minimal radar cross-sections from all angles, extensive use of radar-absorbent materials in the bomber's design, and the ability to get in and out of enemy airspace with the lowest possible risk of detection, even in areas that have extensive air defense systems set up to scan the skies and spot incoming threats. Together, these 3 bombers have formed the backbone of the US Air Force's bombing fleet for generations. Each one excels at its particular role, with the B-52 famed for its size and range, the B-1 able to fly the fastest, and the B-2 being the hardest to detect. The B-21 Raider has the potential to replace not just one of them, but all 3. Its development began in 2011, when the Air Force initiated the Long Range Strike Bomber LRSB program, hoping to create a stealthy intercontinental strategic bomber that could deliver conventional and thermonuclear weapons. It issued a request for proposals to develop the bomber in 2014, before awarding the contract to Northrop Grumman in October 2015. At the 2016 Air Warfare Symposium, Air Force officials revealed that the bomber would be called the B-21, representing the fact that it would become the first bomber of the 21st century. The Raider designation was added to the name soon after, in honor of the Doolittle Raiders, a group of airmen who launched a surprise attack against Japan during World War II. In the years since the bomber's name was revealed, the Air Force has also released tidbits of information about the B-21's design and capabilities. There's still so much we have yet to learn about this aircraft, but here's a closer look at what's known and expected based on all available data. As far as its design and appearance are concerned, the Raider looks a lot like the B-2 Spirit. It uses a similar flying wing design, looking almost like one huge wing rather than the more conventional aircraft appearance of a central fuselage with wings, stabilizers, and a tail all attached to it. This design helps to provide lift and minimize drag, helping the bomber get off the ground and reach its peak speeds much faster. It also means that the B-21 should be able to travel further on a fuel tank of gas than a more conventional aircraft, using less power to cover greater distances. In terms of technical specifications, the B-21 is reportedly 54 feet, 16 meters long, with a wingspan of 132 feet, 40 meters, and a maximum takeoff weight of 180,000 pounds, 81,600 kilograms. fitted with a pair of Pratt & Whitney PW9000 non-afterburning turbofan engines, each generating 27,000 pounds of thrust. It's said to be able to reach high subsonic speeds of at least Mach 0.8, 610 miles per hour, with a service ceiling of 50,000 feet or 15,000 meters. In terms of weapons, the B-21 will be assigned to carry the AGM-181 LRSO nuclear air-to-ground cruise missile, as well as the B-61 Mod 12 nuclear glide bomb and the B-61 Mod 13 nuclear bunker buster, which are classed among the most powerful and destructive nuclear weapons in the world. It will also be able to carry conventional weapons such as the AGM-158 JASSM ER standoff missiles. Price-wise, some estimates have put the value of each B-21 at around $700 million, and Air Force officials have estimated that it will cost around $200 billion over the course of a 30-year period to develop, purchase, and operate a fleet of at least 100 B-21s. But the most fascinating elements of this bomber's design are yet to be revealed, with details around its stealth technologies, avionics equipment, and other advanced features still tightly under wraps. There are, however, a few hints for analysts and experts to go off. A 2015 media report, for example, revealed that the Air Force wanted the B-21 to be not merely a bomber, but also an intelligence collection platform, battle manager, and interceptor aircraft. In 2016, Air Force Secretary Deborah Lee James called the Raider a fifth-generation global precision attack platform with network sensor shoot capabilities. Northrop Grumman has gone further, calling it the world's first sixth-generation aircraft. The manufacturer also notes, the B-21's open architecture will enable rapid upgradability from inclusion of new weapons to software upgrades, layered onto the advanced networking capabilities and successful migration to a cloud environment. The B-21 is designed to meet the evolving threat for decades to come. The B-21 will deliver a new era of capability and flexibility through advanced integration of data, sensors, and weapons. Northrop Grumman has also pulled out all the stops for the B-21's development. Since being awarded the LRSB contract back in 2015, it's assembled a nationwide team to design, test, and build this aircraft with over 8,000 personnel from the company itself, along with its industry partners, plus the Air Force. More than 400 suppliers across 40 different states are playing their part in making this project a success, and all signs suggest that the B-21 will deliver in every measurable metric, ushering in a whole new age of bombing warfare and giving the US an unbeatable advantage in the air for generations. Experts also believe that this new bomber may feature heavy integration of artificial intelligence (AI) technologies. This conclusion was formed in late 2025, soon after the Air Force Global Strike Command (AFGSC) issued a recommendation that the default crew for the Raider consist of just one pilot plus a weapons systems officer. That's a big contrast compared to almost all bombers that have come before, which typically require the presence of a pilot and co-pilot or mission commander who can take over in case the pilot becomes injured or incapacitated in some way. Bombers are also often quite complex aircraft to control, with a vast array of systems to keep track of and procedures to follow. As such, it's generally much safer and more practical to divide those various tasks between two minds rather than just one, especially for the long-duration, long-range missions that bombers tend to be involved in. Usually, it would be a serious safety concern for a bomber like this to take off with only one pilot. But the fact that the AFGSC is actively recommending a one-pilot crew suggests that the bomber must have a high level of automation and most likely AI-infused technology integrated into its design. We know that the US Army has been experimenting with the idea of virtual AI co-pilots for several years, testing the technology in Sikorsky S-76B helicopters as far back as 2018. So, it's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility that this same sort of tech could feature in the next generation B-21 bomber. Speaking about AI co-pilots in helicopters, Dave Braden, program manager for the US Marine Corps' portion of the Future Vertical Lift (FVL) program, stated, "The reason this type of technology is important is to reduce workload, the piloting workload, and let the mission crews concentrate on what they're really there to do, which is either to execute the medevac, medical evacuation, the close air support mission, or whatever they're there to do. Rather than concentrate on moving controls, they can concentrate on what really needs to be done. Now, those same benefits could transfer over to the Raider, easing the burden on the B-21's pilot and allowing them, as well as their Weapons System Officer, WSO, to focus on more important tasks or take breaks and rests when needed, especially on long-haul missions. Experts at Aviation Week have also suggested that the WSO could potentially be trained to carry out basic piloting tasks for emergency situations, in case both the pilot and any possible AI co-pilot were to fail somehow. In a two-seat aircraft such as the B-21, the WSO also would likely be trained to fly the aircraft in certain scenarios. For example, the WSO would likely be able to land the aircraft if the pilot is incapacitated or injured. For now, this is all speculation, but it's speculation based on data and logic, with AI being one of the most important technologies of modern times, and the B-21 set to be a truly next-generation, next-level bomber. It's almost guaranteed that AI will have a critical, even fundamental part to play in its operations and capabilities. This in turn could unlock countless new applications and advantages, setting the B-21 in a class of its own compared to almost any other bomber in existence, surpassing the very best that China and Russia have to offer, like the highly secretive Chinese H-20, which has been in development since 2016 but may not be fully operational until the 2030s, or the Russian PAK-DA, which is expected to enter serial production in 2028. While both of those bombers are likely to boast advanced features and technologies, neither China nor Russia can match the US when it comes to military investment, innovation, and excellence, and the B-21 should be more than sufficient to maintain America's position as the leading force in bombing and nuclear deterrence capabilities. Recent reports even suggest that the B-21 could be capable of much more than previously imagined, with the US Air Force said to be examining the possibility of fielding stealthy flying wing aircraft as arsenal planes, loaded with air-to-air missiles that could prove game-changing in high-intensity aerial conflicts with forces like China. It's possible that the B-21 could fulfill this role, with a modified variant potentially already under development, ready to carry out air-to-air missions against enemy forces. This ties into comments from former Air Force Chief of Staff General David Alvin, who stated in 2024 that the Air Force hadn't ruled out the prospect of expanding the roles and missions of its next-gen bomber. Various high-ranking officials have also issued numerous other encouraging and exciting remarks about the B-21's versatility, power, and prospects. Former Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, for example, has said that even the most advanced air defenses in service around the world would struggle to even detect the B-21, suggesting that its stealth capacities are akin to those seen on the B-2 Spirit, if not superior. Austin also said that the Raider is a multifunctional aircraft equipped with significant intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) and battle management capabilities, able to defend our country with new weapons that haven't even been invented yet. He also highlighted the aircraft's immense range and efficiency, noting that it doesn't need to be based in a particular location or require specific logistical support to hold any target at risk, underscoring its immense deterrent potential. Northrop Grumman CEO Kathy Warden has also touted the Raider's flexible design, which should allow for rapid technology insertions, upgrades, and additions to keep pace with evolving threats, adding that the world has never seen technology like the B-21. Former Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Christopher Grady, agrees, noting that the addition of the B-21 will ensure that the US Air Force's bomber fleet remains a world-leading force, unmatched in power, range, and deterrence. Grady also said that the Raider grants the ability to penetrate and manipulate the battlefield to our advantage, adding that it will enable the US to outmaneuver and outpace adversaries while maintaining a decisive edge on the battlefield. With so many advantages, such cutting-edge technology, and so much still to unwrap and uncover about this jet, it's no wonder that officials are already calling it the China deterrence weapon. That's exactly how Senator Mike Rounds, member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, described the B-21 during an interview with South Dakota State Public Broadcasting back in April 2023. Rounds added, We have the ability to let China and others know that should they become belligerent, that this particular platform can carry nuclear weapons. It can carry conventional weapons as well. It can do so and penetrate their most advanced air protection systems, their air defense systems, and take out some of the most sensitive sites that they have if we perceive that they're going to be or using them in an offensive capability. In short, if China, Russia, or anyone else threatens to trigger the next world war, the US will be ready. B-21s will be standing by, armed with some of the most powerful weapons known to man, boasting futuristic capabilities that America's enemies can only dream of, capable of identifying and taking out targets with never-before-seen efficiency. Now, you can learn more about the awesome potential of the B-21 in this video, which breaks down how these bombers could theoretically be used to wipe out Chinese air defenses and other military infrastructure before Beijing even knows what's hit it. Alternatively, check out this video for a look at how one of America's older bombers, the B-52, is still proving to be just as fearsome and formidable as ever, humiliating Russia's President Vladimir Putin and sending a strong show of force to America's enemies. And for additional in-depth breakdowns of military innovations, plus breaking news reports and more, subscribe to our channel today.